This podcast contains some magical adult language. Listener discretion is advised. And sorry, Mom.
I'm going to Disney World. I'm going to...
Whoa. You're not Mickey Mouse, you're a rat.
Rat smack! Besides, they're tourists. What do they know?
Welcome to Rat Castle, a progressive chat about Disney magic without the pixie dust. I am Professor Nathan Hartman, and class is in session. Yes, we're back to school, people. We're just a couple rats on the schoolyard with all the news to dish this week. And with me, my fellow rats, we have the full rat nest. Dave, hello, Dave.
Hello.
Welcome, Sarah.
Hi.
Victoria, good to see you.
Hello.
Last but certainly not least, Janine.
Glad to be back and COVID-free.
Yeah, you had them struggles.
Yeah.
Which is never fun. Everyone's dealing with them struggles. They keep coming back. It's Godfather 3 out there. Once you think you're out, you're right back in. All right, well, let's start with some news. And we got a little bit of everything. Last episode, I thought it was a little slow, but we have, things picked up. Things have gotten a little zany depending on where you look. But let's start with our good friend Ronald DeSantis and Reedy Creek over at Disney World. Janine, tell me a little bit about old Ronnie and what he's had to recently say about Reedy Creek.
The lawsuit that was filed suing DeSantis and I guess trying to enjoin them from dissolving Reedy Creek is still ongoing, and DeSantis, his team, filed a motion to dismiss. It's a pretty standard legal procedure. They all do it. Let's see. Here's a direct quote. Part of their argument is they said that the initial complaint filed against them, quote, utterly fails to identify sufficient ultimate facts showing how the potential dissolution of the Reedy Creek Improvement District pursuant to state law, assuming such dissolution were to occur, could plausibly infringe on their rights as taxpayers. So this was filed, I guess, by, I think, the counties maybe, well, basically what it is DeSantis is playing both sides at this point. So they're saying like, may not even happen, but we should still be allowed to do it if we want to. That's ultimately what that is in plain language. They want to do it. They're not committing to it.
Are you telling me that Ron DeSantis might be doing something for show?
Never. I would
doesn't sound
never
right.
make such an implausible statement.
No.
No one has ever accused.
Performative politics. Say it isn't so.
trying to stay in the news and fighting shadows so he can keep everyone's ear on him while Trump hides nuclear secrets in his basement. Yeah, fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, this seems to me like what we've sort of said a lot, which is this is bullshit. They're not gonna do
Pretty
it.
much.
Yep. So I don't think that they're going to be successful in that personally. I think that lawsuit's going to continue. They're certainly not going to just dismiss, like it's not
Sure.
like it's a motion that you have to file if you are worth your salt, which DeSantis has better lawyers than Trump does. You got to do that. I don't see a judge dismissing it on those grounds, especially like we may not even do it.
but
we should be allowed to.
So there you go. At least they've admitted it in legalese, at least.
Yeah.
You know what I always want to do after we talk about Ron DeSantis, though, and that is shower. Shower is what I always want to do, and I'm not going to be able to do that as easily as before, at least on the resorts with certain products.
Oh, nice.
That was good.
Thank you.
Slick.
Well
That was
done.
slick.
Thank you, Janine. What are we losing?
We're losing the H2O plus products that have been in place making Disney's resort toiletries for 30 years. How long have they done that? It's been
They've
a
been there
long
for
time.
30 years, I believe, is the
Wow.
brand has
30
been.
33 years they've been doing that.
They've been at Disney World since 2006. So they've
Yeah.
been there a while, or at the resorts in general since 2006.
Well, it's already gone. Like I had a client actually who checked in the next day after they announced it, and they've already replaced all the H2O
What did they
stuff.
replace it with?
It's generic.
Oh, see, that's the article I read said existing stock is still going to be used and it's still going to be there because Disney probably has bought years of that crap. It's just that the company's going out of business, so maybe it's just one resort ran out. But I'm sure people are going to hoard it.
Oh yeah.
I did the Disney cruise twice, and I would be lying if I didn't say every time there were new ones replenished, I would shove them in my luggage so they
Oh,
would
for
give me
sure.
more.
Yeah.
And I
of
came back
course.
with 20 of them, and that was in our guest room for many years. Right?
Yeah.
It was good stuff. I really like that. sea kelp or whatever that scent was. It was really good.
Is it a specific scent that's in all of the parks?
It's like a sea salt. Yeah, it's like a sea salt body wash.
Oh, that's going to
Yeah.
be so interesting because there will probably be a market for that because memory and emotions are so tied to smell.
Well, I mean, they said you can buy it till the end of the year on Amazon and their website. But if you go on Shop Disney, if you go on Shop Disney, it's marked down.
Is it the provider is ending, or is just the
Yeah, I
product
think
line?
the
provider-
company
the
itself
company
is going out of
itself, yeah.
business.
You know, I feel like every time we've read the like stuff about several articles on this, it sounds like the brand opposed to the company, but you're right. It's like they're just kind of going like, we're done. And you kind of wonder like, well, is this mom and pop H2O plus just, you know, they're finally retiring the old cabin where they make all the soaps. They're just
Sea Marine, that's what it was called. The shampoo was green and it was called Sea Marine, and the conditioner as well, and then the body wash was sea salt. I love that stuff.
yeah.
Sounds
Honestly, their
so good.
skincare, like I did a deal with them, and their skincare actually was really good. I'm genuinely probably gonna buy some tomorrow because it really cleared my skin up.
But you know what's crazy? Those products didn't make a difference in the park. People still smelled gross.
really did.
So what are we gonna
It's
do?
a valid
You know?
point.
Like,
Valid.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's as long as this doesn't help people smell like Pigpen, you know, I you know, I
That is an
just-
insult to Pigpen, and I will
So-
not stand for it.
No, no, no.
You go to-
Pigpen's dirty. That's what Pigpen is. You know, he's good. He's fine.
Yeah, there's no disputing that.
Yeah, I mean the clouds, right?
Yeah.
Shop Disney only has Galactic Star Cruiser branded
Mm.
products now, like some face
Oh
cloths.
yeah,
And
because they still
it.
use H2O as like a benefit for going into the Galactic Star Cruiser. I checked it today, so I was like,
Oh,
Huh.
wow.
okay.
That's weird. I guess.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We
Weird.
have some you know, RIP. As long as our poor cast members still can get soap supplies and steal them from the resort, so they actually have something in their bathrooms. That's all that matters to me. So keep at it. Maybe that's what's bringing H2O down, right? Is all the cast members stealing. Who knows? But we also have one more Disney World announcement. We are putting I don't know, in my opinion, a flower on a turd, but maybe some people disagree with me.
Yeah, you have to commend the effort, I guess. It's too little, too late, and it's shoehorned in. But a common complaint around the 50th anniversary specials, particularly the Disney Enchantment show at Magic Kingdom, is that it really isn't related to Walt Disney or the parks or the Florida project at all. It just has like an amalgam of Disney songs from movies, and like that's not a park celebration, that's a movie celebration. But they have at least taken some of that criticism to heed, and they have shoehorned some archival footage of Walt and Roy Disney into the projection show on the castle.
Yay!
Yay.
There we go, guys. We did it.
I'm not giving them a clap for that.
We
Yeah.
bullied Disney into doing something.
I mean,
The bare minimum. Y'all, the bare minimum.
It's real weird.
What a strange thing to like. What are we at now? The 50th was on what day? I'm already blanking.
October 1st of last
Right.
year.
This is October.
It's almost over.
It's
Yeah.
almost over.
And they're like,
Yeah.
well, maybe we need to. Should we celebrate Walt and Roy Disney at all during this? Maybe that's a thing we should do.
I'm just like, that's it. Like you literally have nothing about the 50th, anything regarding parks
Yes.
anywhere, and that was all.
It-
Like, wasn't there a parade at one point where Walt started the parade? Like they had a character performer where Walt was in a bubble or something. They could
Gosh,
have.
I don't know that at all. That's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
Did you dream that?
Have they
No.
ever done something like
Yeah,
that? Having a wall?
No, there was a parade where they had Walt actually like drawing. and he
Google it
started off
right
the
now,
parade.
Victoria, because unless you can find it, you had a fever dream.
I did not. I know this.
The Florida sun beat down hard, and you passed out in the middle of Main Street and had a fever dream.
I'm gonna find it too.
Victoria's on Google.
But do you think that kind of like brings up a good question? Because like, do you think that they would ever have like a Walt Disney face character in the park? Would they ever do something like that?
I always thought they should do an animatronic. I always thought they should do a great moments with Walt Disney.
I think that
I,
an
I like
animatronic
that
is
better
better
than
suited,
like
yeah.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Ugh, really? I'm hard
Oh, I-
pass for me on
Ha!
that.
Share
I
a dream
love
come
anime.
true. Everybody
Share a
can
dream
suck
come
it.
true. So what year was Share a Dream Come True?
2001.
Oh,
Girl, how old were you?
Oh, you're right. Yes.
Ha!
that's right.
Told ya.
See, we
It's
were being
tiny,
told
though.
in,
It wasn't even a very, very big float. Yeah.
in 2001 we were being told to never forget other things, and so I didn't
All
keep
the
that in
room
my
was-
head. All the room was out. I had to remember one thing.
Yeah,
That's what
that
I
was the
told.
parade with all the snow globes. I remember that one.
Yeah.
And then they
Well,
had
there
to
you go.
stop it because everybody was suffocating because there was no AC in them.
No way.
Oh my
But
god.
Dave, why would you be against something like that?
Let me list the ways. First of all, it's like other than Lincoln, sorry, hang on a minute. Can we pause for a second? I need to get rid of him.
Sure.
Sorry.
Ladies
I'm
and
sorry.
gentlemen,
No, it's fine.
this man has a husky, and what that means is
They like to talk.
they like to talk. They like to do woofers.
He
It's
was our
funny.
guest star.
He's not much of a talker, but he is right now.
Do little woofers.
Sorry about that.
Wait, I didn't even hear him. So
I didn't either.
Yeah,
Really?
didn't either.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I'm
I
I
didn't
heard
know.
like the
God.
slightest
All right.
little noise.
I'm
but-
not
No,
cutting
you're
this
good.
out, by the way. I'm too lazy.
So Jason is literally wrestling with him on the ground and pulling him out, and he's like playing not to go. It's not even like, yeah.
One
buddy.
might say he has an iron will to stay next to me.
Oh, hey, nicely done there.
Hey. Watch it on Disney Plus.
So well, I would just find a Walt animatronic a little creepy because like they don't really it's weird for me to show real people as animatronics. Lincoln notwithstanding, because that was like a flex of the technology to show what it was.
Sure.
Mhm.
And the Hall of Presidents is what it is, but it's like I don't know.
Ain't that
I
the
think
truth?
yeah,
Still never
right.
done it.
Really, never, ever.
It's worth seeing lots of animatronics at once.
Be
But-
blessed.
True. I am an animatronic.
Just say be
fan.
blessed.
I don't know. There's a bit of like idol
Uncanny Valley, maybe.
about having like there's enough idol worship of
Sure.
Walt people to embody
Yeah.
it in animatronic at an altar that people can pray at. Is
Yeah.
I can see that. With all the
mean-
fake quotes around the park, I think that's enough.
Oh, the fake quotes are amazing because they're all wrong.
Yeah.
It's not him at all.
I mean, I thought that the great moments with Walt Disney would just be like him naming names saying that people are commies and not liking unions.
Right.
Theoretically, those are great moments. I mean, those are
Yeah.
big
I
moments.
mean, you're not wrong.
You are a communist, and you are a communist.
Yeah.
Just like spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric and talking about communists. So
I've never seen people just worship a white man like that.
You
until
know, you
Trump.
guys, this
Oh,
conversation
Christians
is...
do all the time, right?
Yeah.
They're Jesus
hello,
is
white boy of the
blue-eyed
month. Do you guys not know about that? Like, have you not heard of
Wait.
white boy of the month?
Well, hold
I'm
on,
sorry, what?
Janine.
They still
before we,
do that?
Before we get
They
to White
still
Boy of the
do
Month, Janine, what were you saying?
I just have to talk about this because I like.
You look so stressed. I had to immediately come
yes.
to you.
Okay. So I work for a law firm and I help clients with their insurance settlements, whatever. So I'm on the phone with people all the time. And I was talking to this one lady who was an emotional mess, crying on the phone and whatever. We're getting her through it. And she's like, the only thing on this planet that won't let you down is Disney.
Oof.
And I tell you, I kid you not, I spoke to her for 2 hours on 2 separate occasions and she brought it up no fewer than 4 times. How
Maybe she-
Disney is.
Maybe she was
the-
hinting she listens to the podcast and you weren't picking it up.
Oh
you know?
God, that would be mortifying. But it was wild. This woman was like, "You'll take your kid on vacation to the beach, and it's gonna suck. But you know what? You go to Disney, and it's gonna be perfect."
She needs to go right now. Let's burst that bubble. What is she talking about?
Oh, my good sis, my sister
What
in
Disney
Christ.
vacation is she talking
Sweet
about?
summer child, let me tell you.
Like, baby, let me introduce you to the park pass system.
Yeah. When's the last time you went? I went in 1985.
Right?
That makes sense.
She was worshiping like every single man on this woman was she was a lot. I love her. Every single man on the planet is trash.
That's
except for Walt
true.
Disney.
Well,
Except for
mean,
Walt Disney. Walt
she's
Disney is
99.9%
one.
correct.
Hold up.
Man.
There has to be some exception because Michael B. Jordan exists.
Period. Exactly.
Well, Fred Rogers is dead, so that's out.
Oh.
No, we can't do that.
He's
Oh,
the
but
best.
current white boy of the month
He
is
is.
Ross Lynch.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
And
From
I've reached a
Michelle
point in my
Austin
life
and
where-
Allie.
Do you
I
know,
have no
you know what?
room.
Sarah,
Remember?
you're pretty young, right? How old are you? I keep forgetting.
I'm 23, you guys.
You're 23. I'm 34.
I'm
Victoria, how old
Dave and
are
I
you?
just made the same exact face.
What is Austin and Allie? Is that like a
Yeah.
Nickelodeon
You've
So-
never seen
show?
Austin. It was late in Disney Channel.
Yeah,
It was like,
Victoria.
yeah.
How old are
Anything
you?
beyond? Oh, I'm 30.
So
Well, I'll
you're
be 30
30,
next
right.
month.
So there's plenty of us that are. So there are 4 of us on this panel that are 30, and then there's Sarah.
And then there's
Um,
me.
No, I said there's 4 of us. So you're good. Just
Okay.
follow along. Sarah, what I can tell you about your 30s is you're going to start hearing names, and instead of you going, I need to know who that is to like be in the conversation, you're going to go, I don't freaking care about that. Like that's exactly what 30 plus is you go, that name, whatever it is, just rolls off the top of your head, and you go, nope, doesn't matter to me at all. I'm
But
not
white
gonna
boy of
stop.
the month is
Right.
important to Twitter. Okay, it's important to
Yeah.
Twitter culture.
Is
You gotta
it?
know who the white boy of the month is.
It's a thing. It started a couple years ago, right?
Yeah,
Sarah?
yeah.
And it's just that, everybody chimes in on. It's like Timothy Chalamet was one
Exactly.
once, and
Tom
it's,
Holland was one. It's all like the
Oh.
scrawny white boys.
So
Like
what-
they get their time.
What we're saying is, let's get rid of the Hall of Presidents. We have the Hall of White Boys. Oh wait, it's
Yes.
basically that already. I keep forgetting.
I mean, it really
Basically, the
is.
Hall of White Boys.
except for one.
Except for
Yeah,
one. He's half,
asterisk.
so
One. So there you go. That's us talking about everything, including Disney World. Things are a little bit more chaotic. I think that our news is sort of whatevs here at the East Coast, but hey, West Coast people, how's Magic Key treating you? Things going well?
you know what? Dave and I had to bite the bullet and we succumbed to capitalism and we bought it,
I
y'all. We're
did.
sorry.
I did. For all of my bluster about how awful the renewals were and how bad deal it was, I was like, but if I don't do it,
Exactly.
I'm gonna kick myself. So I did it. And but the actual day of doing it, I logged in at about 9:15 a.m. They went live. The servers went live at like 9, right?
Mhm.
It kept telling me it was like an hour, and that never changed and budged. And 7 hours later, and I still wasn't in. And it was like it kept crashing and then putting me back in the queue. And then finally, I finally got in and to the screen where you could buy, or the next step at least. I didn't even see the screen where you can buy, but where it did the little CAPTCHA challenge where it said type in this
Mhm.
number.
Mm.
I did, and it didn't work. And I was on my mobile phone because I was out and about. I'm like, I'm not going to sit at my desk all day, and it didn't work. And I was just like, I give up. And I texted a friend of mine, and he immediately said, "Oh, I'm in there now." And because he and I, here's what's interesting: because he and I are connected on the app, because we make reservations for each other,
Mm.
Mhm.
he was able to renew my pass
That's
under his
amazing.
Oh.
account.
Oh, weird.
And then I just called them and changed the credit card to mine rather than his, because I already
Huh.
had. So, but that was the only way.
Fascinating.
I tried all day. Yeah, it was that whatever that online system was a real.
I gave up with the online system that day because like I also did the same thing. I logged in the morning and I was like, you know what, they're not gonna sell out. So like
Right.
I decided to waited until the next morning at 9 a.m. and I logged back in again and it just bam, I got it immediately. Like didn't even have to go through their system. Like
And they
it
haven't
took
announced them selling out or anything, right? They haven't.
no, I think
Yeah.
it
That's what
was
I've
just
seen.
it's that because they what they said was in the beginning was that it wasn't guaranteed. So I think that kind of put in a panic for a lot of people, and I definitely put in a panic for me where I was like, okay, well, because I wanted the Inspire key, which was similar to the Dream key, and I was like, okay, well, the Dream key sold out the last time, and I don't want the
Yeah.
Inspire key to sell out again. So I feel like that's where that panic came in.
Yeah.
Why would they even word it like that? Like,
Right. I think it was just them again. It's like the whole manufactured scarcity where it's like, I think a lot of Magic key holders were not going to renew. And then this time they're like, okay, well, I have to have it now. If it's going to be a thing that's going to sell out, I need it. So, typical AP fashion, we have to
Mhm.
get the things that are going to sell out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that that's where all of that came from. But there was, I think the interesting part about this new Magic key was that we have the new Inspire key, which replaced the Dream key,
Right.
and prices went up a significant amount, but not as bad as I think was expected. They went up about $200 for the Dream key. So now the Inspire key is about $1,600 from the previous $1,400. And there's blockout dates, which for the first time in forever.
Wow.
Yeah, the top one has just Christmas week, right?
Yeah. So
But
far,
yeah, I
think.
didn't do Inspire. I didn't. I was like, I'm never gonna go that week anyway. But
Yeah.
they made it a real Sophie's choice because it was like Christmas week or the next one down, which is sort of equivalent to the Dream Key in terms of like discounts and stuff.
Mhm.
What's the new one called? Believe? I forget. Those names
Believe,
are.
yeah.
Can we just also say those
The
names
names are so
are
stupid.
ass?
Yeah,
They're so
I
bad.
so agree. They're so
but like
horrible.
They're not qualitative.
no at
Like,
all.
they don't
That-
tell
that's
you
on
anything
purpose.
about that.
Yeah,
That bothers me.
I think that Disney World's just as bad now because like as much as I think Pirate Pass is a better name, like it's nothing like bronze, platinum, gold, like those things we kind of get as a society, and it's just so much
Yeah.
easier. Why make things hard? Oh wait, that's what we do these days.
that's what Disney does. They make it complicated.
But there's so that they at first they were like there are select blackout days
Mhm.
even on the second tier one, and I was like, "Whoo boy, all right." And it took some digging. I finally found on the site the calendar was live like the day before. They didn't put it in any of the direct links. You had to really dig for it. And it was like a bunch of Saturdays. It was a bunch of Saturdays in like October. A bunch because of what's the Halloween thing out here called? Not Mickey Scary, but yeah,
Boogie.
Boogie. Thank you. Because of that, and then there was a bunch of Saturdays in like spring break, And then I think heat of summer, there was like a couple of full weekends. But it's like I never go on Saturday anyway. If I have friends coming in out of town, I always go Sunday. So I was just like, it's fine. This will work for me. Seriously, Jason and I I almost had a wall full of like cards and string, like a murder board. I was working out the cost for it in my head. I was like, all right, it's this much per month. How many visits? Because I went back and said, how many visits did I do this year on my existing pass? And guys, I did 8 visits only.
Ooh,
and that was
small.
And that was scraping to try to get I had a lot of busy travel and things, but it was also like trying to get the reservations.
Yeah,
it was always hard. And was it worth the cost at 8? When you include parking, it was. And that's the thing they changed in the new one, that mine has a 50% off on parking, not fully paid for parking. So it's just, they made it so convoluted. But we went through and I made a spreadsheet and we broke it down, and we basically said, all right, if I don't get the pass, how many individual day tickets or how many Costco 3-day passes will it be equivalent to it? And it ended up only being like 9 or 10 visits. And those 3-day tickets, you're screwed because you have to use them within 14 days. So that was the other big thing. It's like, yes, they're cheaper.
True.
Yes, it's cheaper per day, but you got to use them up.
You're not staying there. You're going to go back and forth.
And so it was one of those things where it's like, I'm probably going to go at least the same amount I went this past year. Maybe reservations will open up a bit more and I'll do it a bit more, maybe. But to me, it was like, just entertainment dollar wise, looking at my entertainment budget, I'm like, I'll use it. I've gotten more use out of my Knott's pass, dollar for dollar. I've gone less to Knott's, but the amount of money I spent on it
for sure.
For real.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's like a monthly payment for these Magic Key passes. But
yeah.
What were your thoughts on that new clause they added?
To not litigate?
Yeah, to not litigate.
Oh, did it literally? I didn't catch that. Really?
Yeah, that one, it says you can't litigate.
Yeah, it says you can't do any class action lawsuits against them.
Is that legal?
I'm sitting here wondering the same thing.
It's legal until they're told it's not legal. That's how corporations work.
I do think that the passes have more perks this time than they did last year, because you do get that 20% off of Genie Plus. And I think some of them came with Photo Pass. Or just
that went into effect today.
Yeah, so there are a lot more perks, and then the lower passes also get discounts on parking. So there is a little bit of, it's kind of like, it feels a little bit more worth it this year.
Sarah, I just want to point out that one of your perks is that you get 20% off of something that used to be free.
Yes, we know. Okay, we get it, Nathan. Okay, but capitalism is here, and we just have to live in this system. Okay.
But capitalism popped off.
Look how much you guys suck at the teat of capitalism the moment you need to. Look at this.
It is what it is. Okay, I will run whenever I see something that I need. What am I supposed to do?
Daddy needs his Carthay Manhattans. Okay, I can't not.
Well, you guys, maybe you should go 8 times or less, Dave, because crime is sweeping Disneyland all over the place. We have ourselves firearms, and it's quite the headline here. Anaheim Police Department reports over 40 assaults, arson, guests brandishing firearms, and more incidents at Disneyland. Sarah, give me a little more information about what June and July looked like for Disneyland when it comes to crime. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, so like you said, there have been over 40 incidents. In June, there was 21 calls to Anaheim PD, and then in July, there was 26. So they saw a little bit of a bump there. But most of the, I guess, criminal activity was narcotics, assault, trespassing, a lot of narcotics.
There was 9 narcotics. And come on, guys, that's just pot, right?
Yeah,
but
explain
trying to bring weed into Disneyland.
So that's just that you're not allowed to take weed into Disneyland? Is that the whole thing?
But typically they'll tell you to just go put it back in the car.
Right.
So
true.
Yeah, why are they
I don't
bringing
know if
cops
they
into
found
this?
something in the bags, maybe a little something
That's
extra.
true. Maybe it's not.
not
Maybe it's worse than that.
Maybe it's worse
or something. Maybe
times have been hard. It's okay. We don't judge. That's
hey,
fine.
Disneyland on shrooms. Don't knock it till you try it. That's great.
There's child abuse.
Well,
I've seen it.
That's daily at Disney World. Right?
This is just the one that's
kids.
recorded. I do like disturbing the peace. It sounds so Western to me. I feel like only in Frontierland can you disturb the peace.
At 8 a.m. though? Who's disturbing the peace at 8 a.m.?
I am curious though. If you look, and it's fun to look at these dates because I kind of want to quantify all this data and see when are most people doing crimes at Disneyland?
June, it looks like.
It's like June, and kind of in the late evening. It seems 10:30 seems hot. 10:20 to 10:30. People are bouncing.
There's a 2 a.m. one.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. I do like my 9:19 p.m. Friday, July 29th arson report. I want to know more about that one.
I also love that like the majorities are just reports that were taken and not even people being
You know, the police doesn't do
booked. There's
shit.
I see like one person getting booked.
What are they gonna do?
I like the arson report. It's like
Oh, no,
someone set
there's way
fire to the
more.
Matterhorn. All right, we'll jot it down. Whatever.
Grand theft on Friday, July 22nd. Like what? A car?
Stroller.
How much is Grand
A
Theft?
stroller? That would be grand theft.
Depending on the
Isn't
stroller.
Grand Theft over like
Yeah, depending
$5,000,
on the
was it?
stroller, it can
Yeah.
be.
How big is a stroller got to be before it's full Grand Theft Auto? Like
It's the wagons. That's Grand Theft
motor.
Auto.
the wagon.
I think it's like
The
the little
wagon.
wagon ones. I mean, not the
Yeah.
wagon ones. I think it's like the double stroller ones, I think.
I'll play some Grand Theft Auto Anaheim. Just getting in a wagon and going to town. That sounds fun.
I mean, I've been drunk and pushed in a stroller at MK before, so
Oh,
I want to know more about this
MK?
story. Everything stops now. We're going to talk a little more about you getting pushed in a stroller at Magic Kingdom.
Drunk at Magic Kingdom.
How were the looks that you got? I'm sure they were fun.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
All I remember is it was long ago enough that Main Street Electrical Parade was still at Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
I remember a bunch of us were just wasted in our hotel room. They were like, let's go to Magic Kingdom. And then like we started in Frontierland. We were trying to get to the end of the route to see it.
Mhm.
And I was wearing really bad shoes. And I told my friend, I can't do this. So we found an abandoned stroller and they pushed me in it. And I remember specifically being pushed through the Emporium.
It was abandoned.
I was like, wait a minute.
There,
We
there
were
was
just
no name
talking
on
about
it.
You took
stroller
another
theft.
kid's stroller. That kid is
Yeah.
walking around.
Victoria
Um,
out there
someone
doing
got
Grand
off-
Theft Auto.
Splash Mountain and looked for
Where's
their
Anaheim
stroller.
PD? We gotta add another report. Like you stole a stroller.
Like what, 2013?
What's
So
the
you-
statute of
you-
limitations
Yeah, I
on
was gonna
that?
say, what's the
Yeah,
statute of
it's gone.
limitation
Yeah,
on
it's gone,
wagon
for
theft?
sure.
Well, I'd do it again.
You know, the shoes were hurting. I wouldn't blame you. I would have done the same
Yeah.
thing.
Like,
Like
they were
it's
like
fine.
wedges. They were
Well-
wedges. I
Yeah.
don't know what I was thinking.
Victoria, you have become for some people a legend after that night, and we're gonna talk more about some Disney legends now. The 2022 Disney legends have been announced, and per usual, they are a fine mix of innovators, experts, incredible people, and then actors that have done a thing.
Hang on. What are Disney legends? I don't know what this is.
Oh,
Okay, well, let's go back then. Disney legends are basically the Dundies for Disney.
What's a Dundee?
Oh, well, let's go back even
Okay,
farther. In the office,
Oh,
they give...
that's Office thing, the
Yeah.
awards. Okay, yep, I
yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah.
it's the Dundies. It's a it tends to be an honor for people who have made an indelible mark on the creativity and innovation of the Walt Disney Company throughout their careers there.
Whether that be a literal like creative mark or made lots of money for them, basically.
yeah. And
Because I was gonna say, how is Ellen Pompeo a creative mark?
well,
I'm sorry.
I couldn't even
Grey's
He's
tell
made
you
a
Anatomy
lot
what
of
made-
that
money for
is.
the company. Let's say that.
Grey's
but-
Anatomy made him a lot. Yeah, Patrick Dempsey
Yeah.
made him a lot of money.
Well,
I
let's go
guess.
through
Yeah.
these. Let's go through 'em. I feel we'll do these in groups here. We have Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross from Blackish.
Deserve it.
Yeah.
Sure, I think Blackish is pretty good. I think that Kangaroo Jack should have been a disqualifier, but you know,
What?
do you-
That wasn't a Disney thing, though, was it?
I know that's my point though. It's like
Mark
It's
against him.
that's just a mark against any human. Anyone who was in Kangaroo Jack, they're happy to get work. So
I love that movie.
sure you do.
I've never.
Do you know Kangaroo
It's-
Jack? Kangaroo Jack was supposed to be a PG-13, like crude kind of movie, and then they realized, no, we want to sell this to kids, and that's why there's the dream sequence where the kangaroo talks. That's the
Yeah.
whole reason. We then have, so that's Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross. We then have Patrick Dempsey, as was mentioned, and Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy, a show that whose set I have been on.
Oh, good for
but
you.
I've never watched a single moment of Grey's Anatomy, and so people were
Same.
freaking out in my group, and I was like, "This is nice." Like, I don't know how to feel about this, but it was a nice moment. And then the next four are pretty much the entire cast of Frozen: Kristen Bell, Jonathan Groff, Josh Gad, Idina
You know how
Menzel.
much money they made that
They made
company?
lots of money. This is ridiculous. These are not, in my opinion. No, you don't get to have. I don't know. This is where I kind of.
Yeah,
there's
I
friction.
kind of agree. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
You guys wouldn't say that Kristen Bell is like a legend?
No,
No.
Really?
no.
No.
Legends are like Sir
No,
Paul McCartney,
absolutely.
okay? Like not Kristen Bell. like no.
No. And
No.
they've only done Frozen.
Every princess actress almost at this point has become a Disney legend. Like
Yes.
not every single one of them, but we're getting close. If they
Yes.
haven't been, they're going to be. So that's just kind of par for the course. Now, the next one is the first actor that I think actually deserves it simply because of posthumous reasons. But that's, of course, Chadwick Boseman for the Black Panther. I have no issue with this one at all. But I don't know if I would say that if he hadn't passed away. I think, though, because it's sort of the end, it makes a lot of sense. He did make an indelible mark. That movie's rad and is a huge cultural touch point. So I think that's
And it's a huge loss that he was not given the opportunity.
Mhm.
Like he was on that trajectory.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Finally get to the people that I actually think probably deserve it the most, which is Imagineers. We have I don't know this guy, Robert Coltrane. He's
Yeah.
been a designer.
He's one of the creative directors, big guy.
Yeah, and he's been around since the 90s, so that makes a lot of sense. Buzz Price, who did the land search for
Legend.
I'm
Legend.
genuinely surprised they're just giving it to him.
Yeah.
Buzz, yeah, me too. I actually was too. I'm like, wait, Buzz didn't get one already? Buzz, yes, he helped buy the land, but the idea of feasibility studies for a park and what the metrics of building a park need to be in terms of capacity and budget and everything, this
Yeah.
guy figured it out. Like it's his equations,
Yeah.
basically his math is used to this day to build parks. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah, he was in legal forever. And
Okay.
his son wrote a small but very good book called Buzz Stories,
Yep.
which chronicle kind of Buzz Price's life and some rad stories because he just
If you
got
want a quick education about all of what he did for Disney, there's a thing he called a book he wrote called Disney by the Numbers. I believe
yes,
it's
Disney
called.
by the Numbers.
Oh yes,
And
I've heard of that.
It's great. It's I think it's out of print, but you can still find copies of it. It's a fascinating read if you're interested at all in how the Disney business of theme parks started and came about.
Yeah, a rad dude. Next up is Don Hahn, for sure. That makes tons of sense.
Yay.
Producer of
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit and Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. And Don has been one of the things I truly miss from Festival of the Arts is when they used to do the kind of like artistic showcases and they'd be like a half an hour or an hour and people would come
Yeah.
to speak. I loved those. And Don did several. And it was always fun to hear him talk about his books and different things like that. Seems like a really rad dude.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I've met him a couple times, and he's just loves fans and very, very sweet.
That's awesome. Doris Hardoon, I believe. it's
Yeah,
Hardoon.
she's a friend of mine. Actually,
awesome.
she is the mother of a person I'm currently working with. Actually, Doris
cool.
also got the TEA award for lifetime achievement last year, and she is a super rock star Imagineer
Yeah.
for a long, long, long time. So absolutely 100% deserve. Look her up because
Yeah.
she's done incredible stuff.
Retires and then gets asked to come back for Shanghai. That's how
Yep.
cool she is.
Yep.
Nice.
She's rad.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then last is Chris Montan, who was the president of Walt Disney Music for years and years, and
Oh, cool.
any sort of 90s Disney soundtrack that you liked, he had some hand in sort of figuring out. He didn't compose them or anything, but he, there's people
Yep.
on the other end. So that makes sense to me too. I think overall, I don't know. I think the list is, I don't know, 40% good in my opinion. But
I mean, I would have liked to see more Imagineers, to be
Sure.
honest.
yeah, where's Joe
Yeah.
Rohde? Has he gotten legend status yet? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I
I'll
think at
Google that.
retirement, I don't think you get I don't think you get legend status until you retire.
He is not a Disney legend.
All right. So
Oh,
there we
okay.
know.
No, he got a legacy conservation award this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of Animal Kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I think there's plenty of people left to do, but I don't know. It's half corporate culture. So moving on, we have some news from Disney Film and TV, including
we do.
Pinocchio. We're gonna talk about Pinocchio from now on. Dave, tell us a little bit about the new trailer for Pinocchio. What's your thoughts?
So it is a live action plus animation spectacle directed by Robert Zemeckis of Roger Rabbit fame, one of the
Yes.
one of the people to refine that medium really well. Tom Hanks is starring as Geppetto.
Walt Disney
just-
himself.
What can't that man do
true.
for
Yeah,
Disney?
Right. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the voice of Jiminy Cricket. Cynthia
Wow.
Erivo is the Blue Fairy and actually sings "When You Wish Upon a Star" in the trailer. Benjamin Evan Ainsworth is Pinocchio. Do we know who this is?
I
I'm
believe
sorry
it's a
if
child
young
actor.
star.
He's pretty
So
new,
it's-
but he sounds a lot like Pinocchio. He
Yeah.
gets the intonation down just right.
Yeah, Luke Evans, Gaston and Beauty and the Beast. He is the coachman, which is really good and creepy.
Yeah, that's fun.
Okay.
I saw this getting dragged on Twitter, and I went in watching it expecting to hate it, and I was like, actually, I don't. Like,
Yeah.
is it necessary? No, but you could say that about all the. So let's just say, look, the live action remakes are happening whether you like it or not. So,
Right.
you know, saying of their whether they should happen is like, well, that's not a criticism because that's out of your
Yeah.
control. And,
Right.
and I will say for myself, I don't love all of them, but there's been a couple that really surprised me. Like Cinderella was fantastic
Oh, that was a
And-
beautiful.
and-
That's my
That was
favorite
and
one.
clever and funny. The Pete's Dragon remake
Yeah, it's great.
is amazing. It's like Iron Giant ET good, right? Like it's crazy. No one saw it, but it was awesome. And so there's
I
possibilities.
didn't know it existed.
Me neither.
Yeah, and it's not even really it's not
I'm
even
like,
really a remake.
hang on a second. I need to go watch that. I
No,
love
go watch
Pete's
it.
Dragon.
Go watch it. I evangelized for that movie when it came out. I saw it 7 times in the theater because I would tell people and they'd be like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, I'm buying you a ticket. We're going. I guarantee you will cry. It is way better and smarter than it has any right being. It's really, really good. But,
Yeah.
but what it does is it reinvents what that story's about and it gets to the heart of it in a different way. It's not a frame for frame remake of the original. Because remember, the original Pete's Dragon, as much as I love it, I was, 6 when it came out.
It's a goof, basically.
It's a goof of a movie. It's a little weird. This guy found it feels he's an indie director. He'd done a couple of indie darling movies at like Sundance, David Lowery, and it feels like he made this moonshot pitch to Disney when they were looking for directors of live action remakes with the idea like they're never going to go for this, and they did, and it's great. It doesn't get nearly the press it should. Anyway,
when you
having said
replace
that-
Mickey Rooney with Robert Redford, you're doing things right. So
yeah, exactly, right,
Yeah.
right. And I don't know. The CG didn't bother me. He looked very toyetic. The hat looked like real felt. You could see a little wood grain in his face. Like there were things about it that I thought were really charming. I know people are dragging it, and there's a lot to be said for I don't need to see this because I love the
Mhm.
original. But I think these live action remakes are actually reaching an audience, a whole new audience, and with the story in a different way.
Mhm.
I mean,
you
it's
know.
no different than a Broadway adaptation of one of these,
Nope.
in my opinion. I mean, it's the same concept. You're just sort of changing the medium a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're sort of showcasing it again. Like,
And
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
if you look at like The Little Mermaid, that's a fairy tale that's been around for
Yeah.
eons. So it's like we've
And now
already
Melissa
been telling the
McCarthy's
same
playing
stories.
Ursula, so maybe not all of these are good choices, but
And part of these is for maintaining copyright, right? Like
it certainly can be. Yeah.
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 I think
it certainly
so.
can be. Get ready for live action Steamboat Willie, everybody. No,
Ooh.
speaking of creepy, the one thing I was a little concerned before we had any sort of screenshots was we were going to get kind of a Jonathan Taylor Thomas looking Pinocchio like we did way back in the day. That kind of fake wood boy look that's a
Yeah.
little too close to like a real boy, and they really
Mhm.
did just straight up just take the character from the 2D and make him in 3D. I think
But he
okay,
looks
fine.
good.
It looks good. I like the
Yeah, he
character
look-
design.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like Jiminy Cricket too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
this
like
is.
Buggy.
We're also getting
Yeah.
comparison stuff because Guillermo del Toro has another animated version coming out for Netflix, and he's going to take, of course, the more darker approach. I'm very excited. I think of the two, I'm more excited about the Guillermo
Yeah,
del Toro one, just
same,
because
same,
it's
same,
so
same.
much more left field. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
free. It's on Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus anyway. And do I want to watch Tom Hanks yell Pinocchio? Yeah, I do. So I'm there.
As soon as I gotta be honest, as soon as When You Wish Upon a Star chimed in and it was Cynthia Erivo singing it, I got a little lump, a little throat lump.
She looks gorgeous,
little
and
lump.
like,
She looks
her
amazing.
voice is just
She looks
amazing.
right? This
So
is her
she's probably the only reason I'll watch.
she's like precursor to seeing her in Wicked, right? Like this is
Yeah,
priming the pump
Yeah,
for
that's a
when
good
she's gonna be in
point.
Wicked.
True,
That's a
true.
good point.
Which is smart.
Yeah, so that's cool. We'll see. I mean, again, it comes out on Disney Plus Day, right? Is this one of the things that comes out on Disney Plus Day?
September 8th. Yes. Yes.
So we have this, and
wow.
we have Thor: Love and Thunder, and the Obi-Wan behind the scenes feature coming to Disney Plus Day. So all three of those things you can check out. But something that might come to theaters or might not, or who knows where this thing will end up or whatever. One might say it's the wildest film in the wilderness. We have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad getting made into a movie by two unique filmmakers. Tell us a little bit more about it, Dave.
So two unique British filmmakers, Amber Templemore Finlayson and Katie Elwood, which are two of the most British names I've ever heard. They go as a directorial duo named Bert and Bertie. You may have seen their work before in the Jim Carrey series Kidding, or the Catherine the Great show The Great, or three episodes of Hawkeye. They did a couple episodes of Our Flag Means Death, which is amazing.
it's a great
If
show.
you haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
That show.
Yeah, so they've got chops and they've got a tone, and I really like the work they've done. They're doing a Big Thunder movie. No details about what it is going to be is there, but I'm going to be the old guy in the room for a minute and go, nobody remembers in 2012 when they were developing a movie back then, because they were.
Oh no, I
Um,
remember. I
Yeah,
remember.
the guy who wrote Fast Five and the guy who wrote Ice Age Continental Drift.
Oh, we lucked out, I
What?
guess.
Yeah, so right. My point. Thank you for saying that, because I'm like, guys. Well, I actually read the treatment for that. I'm gonna whip out a little privilege here and say I was snuck the treatment, the 4-page beatment of what
Mhm.
that show was, what it was gonna be, and it
Mhm.
was basically what was that show that was a TV show about a town in the wilderness where weird stuff happened? It was like scientific based
Yeah.
show. No,
Was it Eureka, right?
Eureka, thank you. It was thank you. It
Oh.
was Eureka in the Old West, that something in the land here is magical and it's interpreted as spiritual by the native population. Scientists are tapping into it, a la, Wild Wild West. So it was this phenomena of the week kind of. I guess it was a movie, not a show, but it was like
Right, sure, that concept.
Yeah.
that concept,
mean,
right? And
That's what the
Yeah.
lore of Big Thunder is anyway.
Right.
Honestly, I just want to see more of the lore of the story. Like I want to see like Barnabas, and I want to see the characters that they put in the comics and into the ride. That's what
Yeah,
I
but they're
want.
never going to use any of that.
They're
That's the
not.
thing.
well,
They're not, and I know that, and I've already accepted that.
well, it is. There are. For those who don't know this story, it is. It takes place during the gold rush in the American Southwest, and the idea is that this is a sacred spot, and by building the train here, disaster ultimately strikes in the form of various natural disasters. It's an earthquake in California and Paris. It's a tsunami in Tokyo. It's a flash flood in Florida. And so does anybody riding it know that? No, it's one of those contextual stories.
I know that, Dave.
Right, you and I know, because we are enormous nerds.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Just it could give it context in a way that we enjoy later on. I mean, I'm jury's still out for me, but the people they hired are great, I think.
Yeah, I mean Barnabas T. Bullion, of course, is the person who created the mining company, and he's part of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. Are they going to have a post-credit sequence where Samuel L. Jackson shows up and gets the team together? I don't know, but
I hope so.
I don't know. If there was a ride, like, I would be more interested in other rides getting made than this. There's nothing here that. Disney's track record with westerns recently hasn't exactly been great. Lone Ranger. So,
Oh
like,
Lord.
we'll see. Well, I'm more interested in who the screenwriters are, because this is a thing that I feel like is coming a lot from Disney Marvel, which is, let's hire TV directors,
Mhm.
and then they're cheap and we can manipulate them and fire them if we need to. So who's writing this, I think, is going to matter a lot more to me than them.
Yeah.
But they're great. They're great. I hope.
Thankfully, it's not the Fast Five guy. So
Yeah, we lucked out there.
Sorry.
Speaking of things that may be like Fast Five overstayed its welcome. Let's talk a little bit, Victoria, about Lil Boo. Who is Lil Boo for those who don't know Victoria, and then
He's
why is
my
Lil Boo now
baby.
everywhere?
So Little Boo, for those who are
Lil
Boo.
Yeah,
Lil
Lil Boo.
Lil Boo.
Lil Boo. Sound like a outcasted B2K member. Anyway, so back last HHN, if I recall correctly, there was a essentially a pumpkin house. I cannot remember it for the life of me right now, but it was Wicked Grove.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the entrance was absolutely immaculate. And one of the stars of this out entrance, or so I'll call it, it was covered in pumpkins, and the star was Lil Boo.
Well,
And it
wasn't a
wasn't like
star.
meant to be. He was
No.
just one that everybody focused on because he had this
Yes.
weird little expression, right? Like,
Yes. So
Yeah.
he had like this really relatable expression, I guess. you
He's a
could say. He
pumpkin.
just
He's
a
to be
pumpkin.
clear, he's a pumpkin.
He's a pumpkin.
That is who.
Jack
That is
o'
the
lantern.
the pumpkin.
and this
Yeah,
is there were hundreds of carved jack-o'-lanterns with different expressions, and they were all sort of menacing and creepy and funny and weird.
Right.
And then Lil Boo, he had those, like when the Peanuts gang is worried, they get those like lines in the sides of their eyes.
Yes, that
That's what he
concern
looks like.
look.
So he looks
Yeah.
like very relatable.
Yeah.
Very excited.
So-
Sculpted and designed by I believe it's Emery Alvarado. Who works for Universal.
Wait, so like, what's the obsession?
Well,
I don't get it.
It was not there. It came out of nowhere. It's just one of those things where somebody
It was just
saw
one
it,
of those things, and
somebody
I
on
guess
the internet
Universal-
went, "This is now my hero," and everybody sort of adopted him, and they started
Okay.
calling him Lil Boo.
Yeah. Well, according to Parkstop, our friends over at OrlandoParkstop.com, someone said, "I found my favorite pumpkin. I have claimed him. He is mine," and it's a picture of Lil Boo. And then Halloween Horror Nights replied back and said, "That's Lil Boo." That's just where it took
Okay.
off. So
There you go.
So now he is
Halloween
on
Horror Nights.
everything.
He is literally on
He's on candles,
everything.
he's on blankets, he's on t-shirts. They put him back in a scare zone. They made him bigger in one of the I think the All Hallows Eve boutique on IOA,
Mhm.
and they gave him a body.
Yeah.
I can't get
pretty
down with that.
cool.
I can't get down with the body, but
That I'm looking at the shirt. They have this retro Halloween shirt.
Yeah, with the they added Lil Boo to the kind of classic mask looking
Oh,
decorations.
I think I saw that at the tribute.
Oh,
at
yeah.
the,
someone
like
needs to
a-
get me that. Oh my God, somebody needs to get me that. Oh, maybe they'll have it here in Hollywood. No, because we didn't have Little Boo out
no,
here.
you won't have little. I mean, I'm going next
Oh.
month.
Oh, I need that.
I can get it for you the next time I go.
Need.
I need all of it. I need the candle. I need the blanket. I need the
The
shirt.
blanket's pretty great.
Anything that has Little Boo on it. I adjusted my budget just so I could buy everything that says Little Boo.
He literally looks like Linus from the Peanuts.
Yeah,
he looks
totally,
like worried
100%.
Linus. Like
Yeah,
that's
but isn't this like a classic example of a corporation overdoing it, and now Lil Boo going to be Lil Nothing? Like we're all going to get tired of Lil Boo. Like
If they do it again next year, yeah. But
yeah,
I think if it's for 1 year, because I think it's cool. Like I think it's cool that they saw something that the fans were interested in and just kind of like went all in. It feels like Universal's like really tapped into their audience.
Oh,
and their base,
100%.
unlike
agree.
Disney.
I mean, I don't see them doing this again next year. I see them maybe like putting hints of it into future things and not going as hard as they
Sure.
did this year.
I want the hat. I want the shirt. Oh, the shirt's youth only.
There's a
Yeah.
hat. Oh God.
I want the hat. I
That's
want the
cute.
tumbler.
See, I assumed this
Eat
would be a
capitalism.
discussion. Yeah, I was gonna say this was gonna be a discussion about overdoing Lil Boo. and all
Nathan
that
was
has
like,
happened-
I was expecting this to go a different.
Well, I like
Everyone's
like
now-
the witchy vibe. Like it has like
Sure.
kind of like I don't even know how to like a retro witchy.
1950s.
I like the
witch
retro.
aesthetic.
I
You know
like
what I
the-
mean?
Looks like
Yeah.
those old 1930s, 40s Halloween decorations.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah,
that.
it's
that
got
illustrative style.
Cuphead
It's very
vibes.
cute.
It's got Cuphead
Cuphead
vibes.
vibes.
It does have Cuphead
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah. Like I like how the cat doesn't look like a cat from this.
No,
like-
that's definitely like a 1940s.
Yes, that's tradition.
Yeah.
Mhm. The
Yeah.
capitalism popped off here.
Yeah. So everybody, we are buying annual passes and all Lil Boo merchandise. So
We're just trying
Period.
to cope with the way that the world is going. Okay, this is how
I
we
get
cope.
that. Didn't we all get our student loans? Like we don't have to pay anything anymore. We all, maybe
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
don't
get
even
more.
know.
double.
I don't know.
I
I
have
have no
no
idea
idea.
if I'm getting student loans. I have no idea what's going on. But I will definitely spend that money at Disney. Is my guess.
Right?
Gonna try not to, but that's usually a failure. So there you go. Lil Boo is actually very popular, and Nathan is very wrong about his assessment that they're overdoing it.
But the stuff is cute. They're just cute. Like I didn't even know about it, and I want the hat now.
I hate so much theme park Halloween stuff. Like I love Halloween, but I always
Right.
find Halloween merch to be unbearable
Yeah, it's
at
usually
the
Yeah.
parks. And this is like the first time I've seen something where I'm like, oh,
well because it
Actually-
always goes so hard, and this is so
it
cute.
does. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
it's like their version of Baby Yoda, but they're not trying so hard.
Baby
It's
Yoda
like
got
a cool
ground into
baby. It's like
ground.
it's like a cool Baby Yoda because I feel like the Baby Yoda it just became kind of like overplayed and was like
I think I like merch with Baby Yoda and a pumpkin right now, and I'm like, I get it, but I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, it's over. Lil Boo is king. Lil Boo is now our savior.
Yeah.
All hail Lil Boo.
All hail
The
Lil
cults
Boo.
of Lil Boo.
Yeah, if there's a church of Disney, this is like the Church of Satan is the counterpart, and it's Lil Boo. Pagan. It's the pagan.
It's the pagan. That's exactly what it would be. Yes. Well, moving on to our segment, Beware Our Guest. Hide your Lil Boos because we got kids brandishing guns at the Animal Kingdom. Victoria, what the hell's going on over there at the Animal Kingdom?
That's a damn good question. A child, a 15-year-old boy, was caught carrying a handgun. It was in first off, this whole statement is baffling to me. So he had I'll try to get it together. He had the gun squished between candy bars and juice boxes in his green Gucci backpack. And I'm trying not to laugh.
I mean,
And
it's
it wasn't-
it's absurd.
But it wasn't even his gun. It was a stolen gun. So I think they said that it was stolen from someone's car.
2 years
but-
ago.
Yes.
The boy's sister owned the gun, but
Oh no,
Yes,
the gun
the-
was only stolen. Oh, in May.
The
Yeah.
gun was stolen in May, but the sister claims that she's had it for 2 years.
Uh huh.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how that
So
works.
Again, I don't know why they thought, what would be a bomb ass idea? Bringing this handgun to Animal Kingdom.
We're framing it. We're framing the child, I think is the key here, right? This is a mob thing. We are framing this child. He can no longer speak against the mob. I don't know.
It was a planned attack.
Yeah.
I mean, the family's statement, because he was there with his family, is that they just didn't know it was in there, I guess.
I
is what they're
I
trying
am
to
so
say.
believe that.
concerned. I am
I
so
can believe
concerned.
that, but it's concerning.
How many
Yeah.
families in America forget they have weapons in containers?
Right?
Fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
That's
it happens
scary.
a lot. If you hadn't noticed,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
people
Like, it's
just
like-
brandishing. So
I'm just
Oof.
like, you forget, like, I forgot I had a candy bar in my freezer. They're like, oh, I forgot I had this gun in my backpack.
And it
for
was
2
a
years.
semi-automatic. It wasn't just like
You're
a little
right.
pew pew. It was a semi-automatic. Like, how do you forget that? How do you just? I don't know guns, but that just seems like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I love that it was
I mean-
pink. Good for her, I guess.
I mean, I once had a dried up joint at the bottom of a bag that I traveled the world with, and I found it going, oh, there's like 8 places I would have been arrested because of that. But that's still somebody.
Okay.
yeah, don't go to. From what I've been told, Dave, be careful when you travel to Russia. Make sure you ain't got no joints in your
I
bag.
ain't going there
God.
at all. No.
Be careful.
I have zero plans to do that.
Zero
Um,
plans.
Yeah, no one's planning a trip to SeaWorld Moscow. They seals, they do not act well, we eat them.
I just feel like the water would be frozen. Like you try, like all the orcas are just trying to like hit the.
It's
hit the ice.
SeaWorld, but everything is literally frozen. in
It's
ice.
like,
yeah.
I want to laugh.
Yeah,
Here
what
the
was that
world
one
is
documentary?
You,
What was it called?
Blackfish?
Blackfish. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Russia. I don't know.
Cecil and Clyde are now Sven and Olaf. All right. Anyway, that's more Swedish. Where am I going with this? What I'm going with is that we have one more Beware Our Guest, which is this is a good one. Victoria,
Sounds weird.
we have 2 different stories. We got to Columbo this one out and see who we believe.
Okay.
What's going on with this story?
So we all know there's been a lot of fights going on lately at these parks. So there's 2 different sides with this one. So this gentleman named Ramon from New Jersey
Of course.
told this
Always. That's the
Always.
number one rule about getting into fights at Disney. Is you're
It's
from New
always
Jersey.
I feel like almost every story that we have had on Beware Our
It's-
Guest, they've
they're-
always been from Jersey.
didn't
You're
get the-
right.
I didn't
And they
understand
always
this.
look like that. They
Yeah.
always look like that. Like they have a look.
I didn't understand this, and then I started watching The Sopranos. Now I fully understand why this is the case. For sure.
So
And reading that article, it kept going and going.
kept
It's
You're like, oh, it's over. And it's like,
Nope.
No.
nope.
It's mysteries
So
upon mysteries.
he told Disney he had been assaulted and he contacted on July 4th. Basically, depending on which way you want to spin it, he got arrested for child abuse. So
Yeah.
he claimed,
Theoretically, at least for one, because one of them was 18, right?
yes. So he was in line with his family for what was it, Toy Story Mania?
Mm-hmm.
And he saw 2 males, age is not described, jump in the line and knock some stuff to the ground. He told them to pick him up and kind of like told him to chill, or whatever. They cussed at him. He ain't say nothing to him, but he said it didn't end there. He said he kept on getting heckled
Yeah, like from 2 rows over, they kept
from
yelling
2
at
rows
him
over. Yeah,
in the
and
queue.
he kept on telling them to stop because there were children around. And then he pointed out that he has brain cancer because at that point the males were getting in his face. But it's never been confirmed that
Look,
he was sick.
I'm not
And-
saying that he shouldn't be there if he's got brain. I'm not saying it's a problem that he does. I just think it's really funny to get into a fight with teenagers and then be like, "You can't push me. I have brain cancer." Like that. Like it's just a very strange thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Like mid.
Well,
fight.
it hasn't become like a. This has barely
It's-
even started at this point.
No,
this
this
is
is
pre-fight.
chapter
It's
one.
Fight.
This is chapter 1.
This is
This is-
chapter 1, and I'm summarizing.
Yeah, this is the Sorcerer's Stone. We haven't even gotten to like Goblet of Fire. We got lots of room to go. So keep going, Victoria.
So they interviewed the 2 kids. Well, one's technically an adult. 17.
They're both 17.
No,
No,
one says.
oh, yeah.
Oh, under 18.
Or
Yeah.
under 18. So
Yeah.
it's not confirmed that the other one is 17, but they're
We
under
just don't
18.
know. Yeah.
So they're minors. So they said that they were spreading the 3D glasses out so it would be easier for people to get. Cool. They get to the boarding area and the employee asked for a party of 2. And they heard the gentleman say 2 assholes. and they started laughing at him. So they claimed that the man that said he had brain cancer jumped at him and choked him, and then they punched to defend himself, and all three of them were kicked out of the queue. And then once they were out the queue, Ramon ran up on somebody and shoved him into a pole, fell on the ground, hit some rocks.
Might have had a concussion. Yeah.
Might have had a concussion.
He ran into a wall. So that was the thing.
He had
And
blood
there were a
on
lot of
him.
Yep, cuts on him. There were witnesses. They said some saw him push the boy into the pole. Some are saying otherwise, but either way, New Jersey guy was put in the handcuffs, taken to jail.
Well,
He was
we know for sure that the two assholes and then the assault outside, all of that happened, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
all
But
that
we
did
don't-
happen.
We don't know basically from that point previous if any of that is accurate. That's just Ramon's side.
Yeah.
What were the
Ramon's
kids?
side.
What was their like?
They were saying that they were spreading out the glasses, which to me that sounds like bullshit.
It sounds
why
like
would
bullshit
two
to me too.
teenager
Yeah.
teenage boys like be considerate? That just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's not
Like,
giving.
I
what it
mean,
sounds
but
like.
doesn't make
also
sense.
like nobody is gonna yell at some kids for being considerate,
Right?
It's just
Well, I don't
that-
think
you
I
don't
think what
mistake
they
that
were
for that.
saying was that I think what it was trying to make it seem like was they got called for a party of two. They were a party of two that happened to be next, and I guess he thought they were cutting or something. That's what I got from it.
Well, and-
No,
and
this
it
is
says-
like a long time thing throughout the whole queue from the time it
Yeah.
started when
Yeah.
they picked up the glasses. They went through the queue like having tension, and then when they came time to leave, he called them assholes.
Right.
And
I think
So
they
it
were
was like a
they
drawn
jumped in the
out thing.
queue to catch up with friends or something, and he thought they were line cutting, which again is that
That's
gray
what
area.
I-
We
yeah,
talked,
that's what
I-
talked about
yeah.
this before. Like,
Mhm.
and evidently he said they knocked a bunch of the 3D glasses off. They say they were picking them up and spreading them out to make them easier for people to get, which is
First of all,
highly
there's,
unlikely for
like,
teenagers
I've never
to do
seen
that.
that happen.
70% of the time there's a cast member there that's handing them out or is
Right?
like, adding
Right.
more bins of
And in
glasses
these
to there.
COVID times and these monkeypox times, why are you touching something that's gonna touch somebody's eyes? Like, I'm not gonna pick that one anymore. I'm gonna get
I
I'm gonna get one from the
mean,
back. Like,
Well, at the end of
whole
the
story
day,
doesn't make sense.
they're
all
not
of
hard
them
to
got
pick up.
banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all got banned.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like
But-
there's his truth, the boys' truth, and then there's the truth in the middle. Like, I
Yeah,
feel
there's
like
something
sounds
going
both
on.
stories have
Right.
elements of the truth.
I don't know that there's any.
Well, who do
like-
you believe?
Neither.
I think
Yeah.
it's a gray area between both
Yeah.
things. I think both did something,
Yep.
Yeah.
and I think the guy. I would say I err on the side of the guy being wrong for escalating an amount of
Yep.
physical
Mhm.
violence towards
Mhm.
kids.
Yep.
Like, just fucking drop it, dude. Just
Yeah.
Yep,
okay,
100%.
they're little assholes. We've seen it before. Let it
Yeah.
go.
That's a staple of theme parks. We have
Right,
to have little
exactly.
assholes. That's
Gotta
what
have little
happens.
assholes.
Yep.
I think it's just I'm very sure that they probably did provoke him, but like you said, it shouldn't have escalated to that level.
No,
Like, that's
Right.
too much. So they deserve to. All of them deserve to be banned. I hope he doesn't actually have brain cancer. I
Yeah.
hope he. I
Well,
don't know where
that's
that came
the
We
from.
never
strange
did
thing.
find that out.
That's the
We
strange
never did
thing.
find that out.
Either this story is a man has brain cancer. This is his last time going to the parks, and he flips out because these kids are being jerks.
Or maybe the brain cancer
or-
made him flip out.
I
'cause
was
it was
just
pushing.
sitting there thinking, like,
Right.
his
brain
brain.
cancer
Right.
can
Yeah.
cause you to be more
Or
But then
aggressive.
it
he's a
goes
man
back
who
to what-
lied about having brain cancer. Either way, it's a weird story.
He was
That's
just
what I'm
coming up with his
saying.
legal defense early, okay, you guys? Like, he
well,
just
and
wanted
that's-
Like, I'm with Nathan. Like, what does that have to do with?
it's the legal
well-
defense.
For me, the interesting part is that he went up and did the tattle, right? Like, he knew he had just beat a child to the ground to a concuss, and he knew he had to do something, and he was just like, these kids pushed me. Like, he just immediately, like, he was going to be the one that sort of lays out the story to begin with, and to do that, he then kind of like sets the narrative, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. I think you show your guilt by running up to somebody and being like, the kids, not me, brain cancer. Like, it's just a strange,
it's just weird. Yeah.
yeah,
I just imagine it just like that. Kids, brain cancer. Like,
brain cancer.
pushed.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like, what is that gonna do for you? Like, I don't know. That was a
it's
lot.
I
You get
think
a discount
these-
at Genie Plus, I guess. If you
yeah, maybe.
cancer,
But
maybe.
these fights are the fights, the reports, all of the stuff that's been happening. I get it. It's hot. It's a miserable time
Yeah.
at the parks. But let's calm down. Like,
Calm
they sell
down, people.
alcohol in
Yeah.
the parks. Let's relax. Like,
Yeah.
I
Not
don't need to
giving
fight
anybody
anybody.
alcohol.
Let's
You
not
know
fight.
what we need to do?
Maybe well,
Stare
alcohol is
in
kind of
the-
the reason for a lot of these fights
No,
sometimes. So
we-
maybe not.
What we need to do is just stare in the soulless eyes of Lil Boo and fall deep in those gorgeous holes. And
I will, damn it.
well, with that, we're going to wrap things up. If you want to be rich in our love for you, give us a little review on Apple Podcasts. We would love that. You give us a 5-star review, we're going to read it right here on the podcast. So please do that. Rat Castle is, of course, produced by yours truly, Nathan Hartman. And if you haven't subscribed, come on, what you doing? Get subscribing, right? We're on all the platforms. You're more than welcome to join us, and you can learn more about us at our website. And by the way, people, there's merch. We've got merch. So if you check us out on, and if you go to our bit.ly/Rat you are going to find a link called Shirts and More. Sorry, I'm looking up the link because I can't even remember how to get to it. Here's the thing. We got a TeePublic account, but the TeePublic search can't find us yet. So if you look in Rat Castle on TeePublic, it's just never going to bring us up. So go to bit.ly/Rat Castle and then look up T-shirts and more, and you are going to find yourself currently 4 T-shirts. We have our logo, and then we have a couple with our logo and some phrases. We have "I disliked Bob Chapek before it was cool."
I love that one.
We've got "Childless Millennial Annual Pass Holder," and we've got "I Stole Buzzy." So
yes, I love that
those. More to come. We're gonna come up with some ideas and add some more designs, and some have already been sold. So we thank you for that. Come get the shirts. That helps us make this podcast happen.
We need to do one on a red shirt for Gay Days.
Yes, of course.
Ooh.
So we need to come up with some good sayings for those.
Yes, Dave. I will allow.
Oh, if people have suggestions, they should send those in too.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly,
That's great.
Yes.
Hey, listeners.
Yeah.
If you have a shirt idea, you can, of course, ask questions of us. And if you have questions for the podcast or whatever, that's a link on our bit.ly/Rat Castle as well. So all that information, we're excited about these shirts. We want you to have them. And hopefully they'll be
if you wear them out in the parks, take a picture, tag us.
Yes.
Oh,
And if we see you, oh my!
Our brand is Queer Snark. That's all you need to know. Queer Snark.
Yeah. What is I haven't bought one yet. I know that's odd. I just don't know if it's gauche for someone on a podcast to wear their own shirt. I just don't know.
I'm wearing our shirt.
I'm gonna. I don't know. I just don't know which one I want.
Out of it.
I have one. I
have the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. I have it's really comfy. It's a great bedtime shirt.
That's true. You have like the first one before we got kicked off of TeePublic.
Yeah.
So what happened there? If anyone wants to know, basically what happened was our podcast Podbean, which is what we use, was pushing our podcast out as a video, which is great. But YouTube did not like that. They thought it was spam, and so they shut down our entire Google account, and that's why TeePublic was like, "Oh, this is a problem." And so there you go. But we're back.
So weird.
We're back. And everything's okay. But yeah, it took a little while to get these back up, but we're happy with them. With all of that, grab your belongings and exit to the left.
Will you stop this foolishness?
What foolishness would you like to see?
Will you get out of here?